Welcome to USA News. In today's video, we'll be discussing the two crucial states that Donald Trump must win if he wants to avoid defeat in this year's presidential race. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with the latest news.
Former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is with us. I want to read you two things. I'm getting back in the swing of things.
You're back off the break?
I was paying attention, but not. Okay, so Eli Lake wrote this. He said, Harris is coasting through the first 3 weeks of her campaign without doing a legitimate interview or bothering to explain in her own words why she has abandoned the fringe left position she took in 2019. Then the Washington Post said this is the editorial page. They're saying, questions we'd love to ask Kamala Harris, saying that she needs to present her ideas. The media and public have legitimate questions, and she should face them. This is a political necessity. Now, in her mind's eye, I imagine her advisors are looking up this morning, they're like, wow, she just got on the cover of Time magazine. Why does she need to answer any questions? I can understand their thinking, but I also understand that the voters will be like, say, but really, what do you think?
Well, if you watch the history of Kamala, she always starts strong in a campaign and then flutters and pulls out. She didn't even make it to Iowa, but she started the strongest running for president. Same thing when she ran for attorney general. They had to retool the campaign. So this is a shorter campaign for her. So the fewer days she has in front of the press, and you've watched her, if she has a teleprompter, she's fine, she could read the words. But when she's asked one-on-one, she gets a word salad and she fails and flutters. When she was in the Senate, she was voted the most liberal. So they know those policies can't work. And if this election comes down to economy, border, and crime, her past history, she will fail at that. So she's trying to flip around the other way, have a shorter campaign, and let's be honest, Biden won the presidency by really staying in the basement. Use that same type of strategy, even though you don't have COVID, to their advantage.
We're seeing flip-flopping. Let's contrast her on the border from 2019 to Saturday. Let's play it.
We know our immigration system is broken, and we know what it takes to fix it. Comprehensive reform that includes, yes, strong border security.
I think there's no question that we've got to critically re-examine ICE and its role. I'm opposed to any policy that would deny in our country any human being from access to public safety, public education, or public health. I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented and cross the border as criminals.
Obviously, the border is a huge issue, and so does that explain the flip-flop? And also, does that also explain why she's not doing interviews or news conferences?
She has been bad on every policy, the most liberal position. She cannot face the electorate on her past positions, so she's got to stay away and try to read from a teleprompter. She's brought in Obama people. She has better messaging now. She's talking about the future, saying we're not going back, an economy that works for all, but her policies don't play that. When she just did that position, took Trump's position on no taxes, you should simply play the clip of her sitting in, making the tie-breaking vote to hire hundreds of new IRS agents to go after you because you took taxes.
Okay, so then let me ask you about that.
Yeah.
These polls that are coming out, the Fox News Power Rankings are going to show, like, this race is back to being very, very close. Trump has a slight lead in certain places, but she's gaining. So what do you think the Trump team should be doing maybe this week to try to do what you just said?
Well, it's just like every Sunday you play a different team. She has a different offense. She's outworking. She plays differently, that Biden is no longer there. Biden not only was going to lose, he was going to crater the Democratic Party. So it's come back. But the Democrats are still playing defense. All Trump has to do is win Pennsylvania and Georgia. He doesn't even have to win Nevada and Arizona, and he's the president. So she has to play defense in all those places. I think she made a wrong pick when it came to VP. She'd be in a different place if she had Shapiro. But it's going to be a race, and you've got to make this race not on personalities. Stop questioning the size of her crowds and start questioning her position when it comes to what did she do as Attorney General on crime. Question what did she do when she was supposed to take care of the border as a czar. Question that they brought inflation. and she was the tie-breaking vote when it came to inflation, when it came to IRS agents. This is a perfect person to run against. You thought John Kerry was a flip-flopper? She is the biggest flip-flop with the most extreme positions, and you got a short time frame to do it. So don't sit back, get out there and start making the case and use her own words to do it to her.
You raise money for Republicans running for the House. What's the impact down ballot if she's playing stronger?
Well, look, when Biden won, it was the first time since 1994 no Republican incumbent in the House lost. No one predicted that. They all thought we'd lose 15 seats. We didn't. We beat 15 of theirs. It's easier to win seats for Republicans this cycle in the House than it has been for the last two. You got redistricting in North Carolina, that picks up 3. Slotkin in Michigan is running for the Senate, you pick up that seat. Spamberger's out, you pick up that seat. You watch Capter in Ohio, we had a bad candidate last time. Republicans had a bad gubernatorial candidate in Pennsylvania. It's going to be a race.
Yeah, but should they, I mean, that sounds like saying that there will be a red wave in the House
There won't be a red wave, but everybody's talking about, oh my God, you're going to lose out. No, it's easier to win more seats. You're sitting at a 5-seat majority. If you add 5 more seats, you know how much easier that is to govern than just a 5-seat?
Yeah, I wanted to also ask you about this because you had more meetings with Joe Biden than anybody else I personally know. He did an interview on CBS, and I still think this is very mysterious. This is his explanation as to why he pulled out of the race. Watch.
Polls we had showed that it was a neck-and-neck race. Would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races. And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so, and I thought it'd be a real distraction, number one.
That's pretty stunning because all those people voted for him, and they were running the Lemon Law campaign until they weren't. Nancy Pelosi, speaking of her, this is what she said.
I've never been that impressed with his political operation.
Biden's operation.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I just haven't been. They won the White House. Bravo. Right? So my concern was, this ain't happening. And we have to make a decision for this to happen. And the president has to make the decision for that to happen.
Your take on all that?
She pushed him out. Her and Obama pushed her out. But for all of her bragging and saying, disclaiming because he won the White House, at the same time, she lost the House. And she lost the House by losing 5 seats in California. She never picked up a seat in California while I was leader. She never picked up a seat while I was leader. I won every single cycle, electing more women and more minority Republicans than in the history. So for her to criticize Biden's campaign, he won while she was losing, but this was all driven by her and Obama to push him out because Biden was cratering. And it really was about his physical capabilities and his mental capabilities, but they propped him up. They didn't go to him before. They should have gone to him a year ago.
They were all for it until the debate. And
exactly.
And as if they didn't know. That's the thing that I think is mysterious, or maybe not.
They should be blamed.
Yeah.
They propped him up. They lied to the American public. They criticized us who were honest about him. And then once the American public saw it,
and now it's like it's in the past. Kevin McCarthy, thank you. Thanks for being here.
Good to be back.
Thanks for getting me back up to speed.
Welcome back.
Appreciate it.